Welcome back to the vlog. Kato here, and today we're playing in the 1-3 game, $300 buy-in. Last episode, I went to the 2-5 game to wage war, came out victorious, and now I'm back home in my comfort zone, trying to rack up a few $100 and get the heck out of here. The first hand I get is ace-9 offsuit in the big blind. There's a straddle on the pot. The middle position player limps. The cutoff throws in 6. I'm going to throw in 3 more. I have an ace. Don't want to raise. Don't want to fold. Let's see if I can see a flop. And I do get to see a flop because the straddler checks. It comes out with a 9 and an ace on board. I'm going to check with the amount of players in the pot and the connectivity of the board. I'm hoping someone bets and I can raise them, but it doesn't happen. The jack comes on the turn, and now I'm going to create some action, give these players a gentle little nudge, see if anyone wants to come along. I make it 20. Player to my left folds, but the player in seat 6 wants a tango, throws out 4 reds as well, and we're going heads up to the river. It's a 6 of diamonds. I'm going to go for max value since it was checked around on the flop. He may not believe I have an ace, and plus he'd probably be willing to call with a jack or a 10. I make it 45. And he does the classic reluctant single chip toss. If you find yourself tossing a single chip in the pot on the river, it probably means you're not happy about the call. And he wasn't. He mucks his hand, and I start the session scooping chips. 383 in my stack, lose it down a little bit to 379, and I pick up ace jack of clubs on the button. Beautiful hand, beautiful position. There's another straddle on the pot. The low jack limps, and I'm going to go a little bit bigger because of the straddle. I make it 30. The blinds toss their hand away. The under the gun player isn't going anywhere. He throws 5 reds in the middle. And then the low jack wants to play as well. So we're going 3 ways to the flop. $94 in the pot. I'm looking for an ace. I'm looking for a jack. I'm looking for some clubs. And I do get a jack, king, jack 3, but there's that pesky king out on the board. Seat 6 checks right away. The low jack doesn't take too long. He checks as well. And I'm going to play this one safe, maybe a little too safe. I check. We're going to the turn. And it's a 10 of diamonds. Once again, seat 6 checks immediately. He's already checked out. The low jack thinks a little bit longer about it, but sends the action back to me. And I really don't agree with this play, but I grab 40 chips, stack them out, and then impulsively decide to check as well, giving them one more free card, and it's the 2 of spades, 3 spades on board now. And once again, action checks to me, and I just check back, give up the hand basically from the flop. I played that hand way too passively, not representative of my tight, aggressive play style. There's $100 in the middle. I should have protected that pot and my pair with a bet. 437 in my stack, and I pick up pocket 9s and the hijack. Action folds to me. I bet 15. The players with better position fold out of the way, and I get called by the big blind. If you can play in position against the blinds, you're just going to be printing money. It's one of the most profitable situations possible. But I have to turn that theory into reality. $31 in the pot, and the flop comes out 8-5-3, all below a 9. The perfect flop for the big blind to hit a pair, and he definitely won't believe that I have any of that board. So I'm going to go ahead and bet big, 25. The big blind, a player I've never played against before, makes the call, and we go to the turn, and it's the pesky ace of diamonds. My opponent likes this card because he's going to take over the initiative of the pot, shuffling some chips, deciding what he's going to do. It's more likely that I'd have the ace as the original pre-flop better. So this $20 bet's concerning to me. I grab my chips like I'm not scared at all. I immediately call, going to the river, hoping to slow him down. The river's a deuce, 4 to a straight on the board. I wouldn't expect him to have a 4 unless it's maybe like ace 4. But regardless, he's going to let me off the hook easy. He checks. I check right back. I flip on my hand, and my 9s are going to take it down. Another winning hand. Blood hasn't been drawn from me yet. Don't forget to drop a like on the video. The next playable hand is ace 5 of hearts under the gun. Open up to 15. I love these suited wheel aces. But no one wants to play with me. I take the blinds down, and we're moving on to the next hand. Almost $200 over my starting stack. The dealer pitches me 2 magnificent cards. Ace-king offsuit in the cutoff. $492 on my stack. The under-the-gun player opens to $10. And I'm going to 3-bet, of course. I 3-bet on the smaller side. Probably should have just gone with my 30 again. I make it 25. The player directly to my left, who's been calm, cautious, bought in for about $100, won it up a little bit, decides this is the time to go for it, and he jams his entire stack in the middle of the pot, 126. I hate to see this when I have ace-king or pocket queens, because in these games, players really don't 4-bet jam all that often without a monster hand. But of course, I'm not going to fold for $101. I make the call, 262 in the pot, and we agree to turn our hands up, and he has pocket queens. It's a true runoff, 50-50 coin flip, and I'm looking to spike 1 ace or king, and he'll be as good as dead. If a queen comes, I'm looking for that jack 10, and I'm praying for it. My best chance to strike him down comes out 8-9-5, not what I need. The turn is a 5, and the river has paint, but it's a jack of diamonds. The dealer grabs my chips, pushes them to my left. He stacks up those chips, and I look over there and think to myself, God, what a painful hit. Even with ace-king, it's a high-variance play. And I look at that stack, imagining it if it was in mine. You know, these are intrusive thoughts. You shouldn't be daydreaming about shoulda, coulda, woulda. Optimism and pessimism don't matter. All that matters is that you're going to get the job done. I'm still over my starting stack of $300 by $66, and I pick up another medium pocket pair, pocket sevens in middle position. The undergun player limps. The middle position player limps as well. I am going to juice it up to my standard bet of 15. The small blind comes along. The middle position player calls 51 in the pot, and the flop comes out 3-4 king. The 3 and 4 look great, but the king is a dangerous card. Still, I'm going to continue betting, represent that I have one, and not let anyone take control of this pot but myself. The middle position player calls, and the small blind folds heads up. Going to the turn, it's another king. My hand has showdown value. If I get to the river, I'm not going to give my opponent an opportunity to check raise me, so when he checks to me, I check right back. The dealer burns, turns, puts an 8 on the board. And now when my opponent checks to me, I'm going to go for very thin value. I used to be scared of going for thin value on the river, but then I realized the only thing I have to be worried about is a raise. And if he raises me, it's easy. I just fold. I bet 30. He calls me. I flip over my hand, and it's going to be good. He lets out a little sigh, shows me pocket fives, and then mucks his hand face up. And once again, chips are coming my way. 447 my stack on the rebound, and I pick up 7 deuce in the big blind. Folds around at me. There's a straddle on the pot, and I'm going to juice it up a little bit. Try to take the dead money. I make it 30, and 30 is going to work. I show the hand, try to loosen the table up, reinforcing the image of a loose and wild player. And then I get ace-queen offsuit on the button, exactly what the doctor ordered. Folds around to me. I make it 15, and the small blind throws in 14. He wants to come along. The big blind tosses his hand away. I'm looking to connect with the flop, and there's an ace in the window. My opponent checks to me immediately, and I'm going to start the extraction process right away. Grab 3 reds, toss in 15. My opponent has no problem, matches my bet. We go to the turn, and he basically checks in the dark. Of course, I'm not going to let off the pressure now. He might be drawing to a straight. He may, if I'm lucky, have an ace. So I toss out 30. And he goes for chips, calls the 30. We're headed to the river. Looking to dodge a diamond on the dealer, dropping it, comes out clean. My opponent sends the action to me for the 3rd time this hand. He's got about 140 in a stack, 123 in the pot. Do I polarize with an overbet? Or do I go for $40 worth of value? I decide somewhere in the middle. I'm not sure if this makes sense at all. You should probably choose one or the other, but I stack out 25, 50, 75, and sail that ship straight into the sunset. He hasn't folded right away. There's potential he'll call. He's spinning a chip like he's Harvey Dent trying to make a decision, and apparently it's tails because he takes one last look at his hand and concedes the pot. That small victory has vindicated my loss with the ace-king. I'm now over that amount, $511 my stack. And the next hand I get is, who the hell are you?
Arg, matey, you've stolen my lucky pirate treasure from the bottom of the ocean in my shipwreck, and I better get every piece back.
Yeah, okay, you do that. It's like 4:30 in the morning, and I'm just trying to finish this video. Pocket 2s, under the gun. I limp in. 3 more limpers, and the small blind bumps it up to 25. The big blind makes a call, and I just decide to wait for a better pocket pair, like pocket aces, baby. The very next hand, there's a straddle on the pot. The cutoff calls, the button calls, the small blind bumps it up to 15. I'm looking to make some money this hand. I go for a 4-bet of $50. The button makes the call. The big blind comes along as well, 162 in the pot. And the flop comes out clean, no ace, but an ace with pocket aces is typically not going to be very helpful for extracting value. Usually I'd be betting here, but the board is so safe and so low, I want a hand like pocket 9s to try to protect their hand, take the pot. I check to my opponent, and my plan seems to be working because my opponent across the table is stacking out reds, and he puts 75 into the middle. The small blind folds out of the way. And I think I should just call here, although I could give up a street of value next round since I'm out of position if I check and he checks back. But he has way less than the pot now, and I think he may commit it all. The turn falls at jack, another safe card, and I'm going to continue with my plan. It's risky, but there's not much to be drawing to, so I check the action over to him. He's going for chips again, stacks all of them into one big tower, goes all in. The dealer ships the all in button, and I ship a single chip in, and we go to the river. My opponent shakes his head and says he has nothing. I courteously flip over my hand, and aces are going to be good. He drops his hand in the muck, and now I'm stacking up 300 additional chips up into my stack. I was ready to go home, but this time staying paid off. I uncover a bunch more hands looking for pocket aces, but it turns out to be a bunch of junk. Keep folding, keep folding, keep folding. Don't want to hit and run. And then I finally pick up ace and 8 of diamonds. In the low jack, 883 in my stack. I open the action to 10. The hijack makes a call. The big blind calls as well, 31 in the pot. We go to the flop, and there's an ace on board. But it's a well-connected, dangerous flop. I decide to check. My kicker's not so great. We go to the turn. It's a 10 of diamonds. I check again. Now my kicker doesn't even play. When the hijack bets 20, I don't want to play this hand to chop. He might have a 10. I don't want to call on the river, so I muck the hand. I decide now it's time for me to get up, head home, and turn my money into cold hard cash. In for 300, out for 883, for a profit of $583. Thank you so much for watching. Kato out.